Attention business owners. Can you make heads or tails of workers' compensation? Very few people can. Listen to the pros that are making businesses smarter every Wednesday. The Evan and Dave's PEOs and More Show lesson begins now on 1250 Wins WHNZ.
Hello, 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 Tampa Bay listeners and beyond. You've got the Evan and Dave's PEOs and More Show. I'm Evan Kohler.
And I'm David Siracusa.
And we've got a great, fun show in store for you today. We got plenty with Al and Eric coming up here later in the show. Dave and I wanted to do a little PEO shop talk today. Again, some of those didn't get the email, but the ones that did, we teased you a little bit. We're going to talk about administrative fees and costs associated with using a PEO. Never nice, but gotta have them.
Right, well, and here's the thing. We talk about this on occasion, but we don't really delve too deeply into it. And when you're using a PEO, a professional employer organization, you get a lot for that fee that you're paying. So, yeah, you could go with a policy, and then you could do your payroll yourself, or you could have a company do that. But as Evan always likes to say, why not put the two processes together, save yourself a little money in the process, and take away some of those headaches.
That's right. Just like any service out there, whether you're using a PEO, whether you're using an accountant, whether you're using Al or Eric, there is a fee for that service. The nice thing about PEOs is we try our hardest to minimize those fees. People say, well, payroll service, what do I get for that fee? Because I know that's always the number one question. How much is it and what do I get? Right, Dave?
That's right. And the good thing is, you get a lot for it.
That's right. Just to kind of bring listeners up to speed, anybody that is not familiar with a PEO, this is a service that a business owner will elect. Not only do we get you workers' comp at a no money down pay-as-you-go fashion, but we're going to do your payroll along the way. And when I mean payroll, I mean physically. We're going to cut those checks for the employees. We're going to give you the W-2s at the end of the year. All your state and federal tax filings, reportings, disbursements is all handled by us. You also get a good dose of claims management in there. Whether it's an unemployment claim or a workers' comp claim, we do it all for you. Now, the administration fee itself is based on your payroll. The more payroll you have, the cheaper the service gets.
That's right. Now, don't be disappointed if you're a small company out there. There are certainly reasons for small companies to use it. But the potential for growth and the reduction in the fees is a good thing. We live in a capitalist country here so far to date. Well, hopefully we keep that up. But, so the incentive is there. The more payroll you can bring in, the more employees you put on, the bigger the jobs you get, the more you're paying out to your employees, the bigger the discount. Smaller employees. The reason I say don't worry, you're getting something too. Aside from the incentive to reduce your fee, you also have the fact that in a lot of cases you cannot get the services unless you're using a PEO. It's difficult to pay for that service, and if you have to have workers' comp, it's nice that a PEO is going to do it for you with no money down, pay as you go. There's a lot of benefits to it. So you're getting a reduced cost for your workers' comp, which makes it affordable for you to afford those services.
Now, I know if I'm Joe the plumber out there and I only have 1 or 2 employees, I'm sitting here saying, well, wait a minute. Because I have less employees, I'm going to be unfairly scrutinized? And that's the exact opposite. Like Dave said, a 1 or 2 man roofer might not even be able to get workers' comp at all. You go with a PEO, you get workers' comp competitively, and you get an admin fee that is priced along with your size. Now, being PEO brokers that we are, we come across companies all the time. We dabbled on this a little bit last week. Companies like Paychex, ADP. Those are not true PEOs. And not to get too technical here, but those are ASOs. Meaning, they're a payroll company first, and sometimes they find a workers' comp policy to go along with it. ASOs bill a little bit differently. What they like to do is they come in and they do you at a per check fee. Okay, and that check fee is usually a little bit lower than the admin fee with a PEO. But, and this is a big but, everything beyond printing that check and that per check fee has a cost. Meaning, W-2s are $5. To file your quarterlies, another $3. direct deposit, child support deductions, all of those little extra services above and beyond printing the check incur a fee. So that stuff starts to add up, and it kind of levels the playing field a little bit. We hear it all the time. Oh, Paychex is calling me. They're offering me at $4 less a check. But what people don't realize is anything above and beyond that's a la carte.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. It just starts just adding up, adding up, adding up. And speaking of Al and Eric, guys, welcome to the studio. And if you don't mind, start off by telling all our listeners a little bit about who you guys are and who the company is.
Well, thanks a lot, Dave, for having us on. What we are, obviously we get people out of jail. We've been in business since 1964. We're one of the oldest and most trusted names around the state of Florida for bail bonds. You know, our clients come from all walks of life. You know, we have business owners, property managers, attorneys, pretty much everything you read about in the paper is what we see and hear on a daily basis.
You get people out of jail, huh? You just go in there, break them out, do whatever you need to.
No, actually, what bail bonds is in the state of Florida, guys, it's nothing more than a form of insurance underwriting. That's all it is. You know, we collect a premium, which is usually 10% on bonds over $1,000. After that, you know, we take in power of attorney, which affects the person's release from the jail, and we assume the liability for that. Hard funds never really change hand, but it's assumption of liability. Like I said, bail bonds equals insurance in the state of Florida. That's all it is.
Yeah, you guys have to be one of the most misunderstood industries out there. I mean, you guys are performing such an important service for the public, and the view really should be, I mean, you guys are like Superman. You know, you're helping out someone who is in a horrible, horrible situation, and you are helping to get a loved one released from jail and basically given a chance to defend themselves, correct?
That's correct. Basically, what you're paying for when you do a bail bond is from the point that you walk out of jail until the point that you go to court and your case is adjudicated. It allows you freedom outside the jail. It saves the taxpayers money because you're not incarcerated. It allows you to get along and move about your life. And hopefully, you know, if you're innocent, you can prove it.
Okay, well, walk us through it. I mean, somebody gets in trouble, and what happens? How does the bail process work, essentially?
Basically, here's what happens. Somebody gets arrested. Your first course of action is going to be to give us a call. We'll take the name, a little bit of personal information, correspond that with what we can find out in a computer. Then once we find out what the charges are, what the costs are, then we give you the fees, and then we basically kind of qualify the people who call. Everybody's different. It depends on a lot of things. There's a lot of aggravating factors. Employment, time in the county, you know, previous criminal history, you know, stuff like that. And we do that case by case. There's no set criteria.
So not everybody gets a bond?
Unfortunately, no. If you've been in and out of jail for the last 15 to 20 years and you know, you've been arrested 20 or 30 times, and unfortunately I think I'm going to have to ask you for collateral, or somebody at least liquid enough to back up your bond.
Now, why is that? Now, what are you worried about? You're not worried about them running away, are you?
Well, yeah,
that's the only reason for the bail bond to start with, is to guarantee that somebody's going to show up in court when their name is called, and that's why that happens that way.
I recently saw an ad in the St. Pete Times and the TVT in reference to a larger bond that you guys have going right now. Is that something you want to share? Get that name out there a little bit?
Yeah, the individual's name is Brian Wood, and he likes to beat up on women, and he fled, and we've got some good leads on him right now, and the U.S. Marshal's helping on it, and you can run, but you can't hide. So there's very few since I've been in business that we haven't ended up catching before it's all over with. But he's given us a little bit of a fit right now.
Percentage-wise, and sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
By the way, there's a $7,500 reward on Brian Wood.
One of the things I wanted to get to, some information that you guys had originally shared with us when we first talked about having you on the show, and Evan was saying how much it really opened our eyes what's going on out there. And one of the things that you had shown me was a Mason-Dixon poll right now that's out there. It says 71% of the people out there do not want to use our taxes for criminals, which makes sense. And if I had taken that poll, I'd certainly be in that 71%. The county pretrial service agencies, the unsecured releases, that really scares me. The U.S. Department of Justice found that they are twice as likely not to appear in court if they are unsecured. And on top of that, they're twice as likely to commit crimes.
Correct.
That's scary information. And I know, Al, you had some other facts that you were going to talk about to back that up as well.
Yeah, thanks, David. To help support what David is telling you, there are 55,000 active warrants in Pinellas County right now, according to the sheriff. Those are people that they can't find, and they don't have the personnel to find them. Hillsborough, I'm told, has 33,000 active warrants. If we lost bonds or had warrants for our people anywhere in those numbers at all, we wouldn't be anywhere in business today.
So these, Al, you're saying basically, I mean, these are people who have committed crimes or were thought to have committed crimes and were supposed to appear in court, and right now are on the streets of Hillsborough and Pinellas. Over 88,000, if my math's pretty good there, in between the two counties that are just running free.
Right, and a lot of them are new warrants, and the people are not released. I don't want to leave that impression, but out of the 88,000, there is a lot of them that are pretrial release people because they have nothing invested on returning to court at all.
Okay, yeah, see, that's important because we didn't really say what the pretrial service agencies do. And I kind of mentioned that they are unsecured releases. So when they come through you, explain the difference between the unsecured and the secured.
Well, with a bail bondsman, our pledge with the clerk of the court is liquidity. You either produce the person in court or you produce the face dollar amount of the bond at the clerk of the court. If we do not produce the person, we have to pay. Failure to pay, we're not allowed to conduct our business. And that can either be a $500 bond or a $50,000 bond.
Let's go back to talking about how the bail process works. We talked about it at the beginning of the show, but we have a lot of people, unfortunately, should be listening to the entire show, but sometimes you got to go to work or something crazy gets in the way. So go back to the beginning here again and just walk us through in layman's terms. Very simple. First of all, how does anyone get in touch with you, your phone number? And then, again, just layman's terms, how does the bail process work?
You would give us a call at 727-571-9999. And, depending on what's going on, if anybody's incarcerated, just give us a call. We can try to walk you through the process. We have over 90 years of combined experience in our office. It's a family-run business. We're the only certified bail agency in Pinellas County by the Professional Bail Agents of the United States. And we're here for you in need be.
Okay, great. And I know one wonderful thing about you guys is people can go to your website, which is alestesbailbonds.com, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and a lot of this information is explained very clearly on your website so that people understand it, correct?
Absolutely. We just got through redoing it, and it should answer any question that you may have.
It's been awesome having you guys in here. One last time, what's the best number to get a hold of you?
727-571-9999. And thank you very much for having us on your show, guys. We really appreciate it.
That's Evan and Dave's PEOs and More show, checking out on a 167-hour break. That's Evan and Dave's PEOs and More show, checking out on a 167-hour break. Hello, folks. I'm Evan Kohler.
And I'm David Siracusa.
Great show in store for you today.
I'm one of the owners of Six Star Construction and Six Star Mechanics. And they helped us out. They help us with working comp. You need to give these guys a call. Let them help you.
Great show in store for you today. Great show.
Hi, this is Chris with Foundation Management Group.
Great show.
Not only by saving me money,
Great show.